call on literacy for AAC users. Our presenters today are Dr. Page and I am presenting today, and Dr. Page is Communication Sciences and Disorders. I'm Human Development Institute. My background is special education, students with moderate and severe disabilities. And as I said, we've done the disclosures already. There is a resource document for this series, for the 4-block literacy series. For the whole series, every link, resource, sample lessons, everything we talk about is in this resource document. You can scan the QR code and get it. And I think it's also in the folder with the other materials for the ECHO. So the case presentation, the case reports are available for you to look at as well as these documents. So take a look at it and feel free to use it. Our objectives, yes, question?
No.
We're going to talk about the block 3 of the 4-block. So I'll turn it over to Dr. Page.
All right, I'm just going to give you the quick little introduction, and then I'll turn it back to Dr. Kearns for some of the implementation. If you were here last time, you remember we introduced the concept of the 4-block literacy, and we talked about different levels or different components of that, one being guided reading instruction that we'll talk about today. Another one was self-selected reading, and we talked about that one last time. We'll also get to writing as another component, and to word study. But today we're going to focus our attention on guided reading instruction. That's kind of that second block of that daily literacy learning environment. And we said last time, if you remember, that we don't work our way through these, that really these things kind of go on concurrently, that these are all important components of literacy development with our students. So let's look at the next slide, which just gives you sort of a perspective of it from emergent literacy. This is from the work of Erickson and Copenhaver in 2020, and they talk about comprehensive literacy and some of the components being predictable chart writing, shared reading, which really is a lot of what we'll be talking about today under the guided reading piece. They talk about alphabet and phonological awareness and writing. So it's a little bit of a revision of some of those 4 blocks. And this comes from Project Core, and there's a reference to that at the bottom of your slide. All right, what comes next? Question is, what is guided reading? And that's the topic for today. The purpose at this level, or at this component of literacy instruction, is to teach children how to think as they read, according to Cunningham and Allington. It really sort of gets kids not to just be passive recipients of this stuff, but to actually actively engage with material. So it encourages reading comprehension, reading to learn from a variety of different print sources. If a student is trying to learn to think while they read, or if they're going to be able to learn to think while they read, it requires some specific things, and those are listed on this slide. It requires them, first of all, to understand what the words are saying. So you've got word knowledge that has to come in there. It also requires them to take what they already know about the world, or their background knowledge, and apply it to what they're reading. So they pull those things together. So they bring that background knowledge to play in interpreting what the reading is telling them. It also requires them to be able to kind of get a picture of how the writer organized the ideas in the story. So really kind of look for the patterns and look for the organization in the story. And then the ability to identify most of the words that are in that particular story. So there's some real specific skills that you need to develop to be able to think while you read. And a lot of those are the skills that will be developed during the course of guided reading activities. And I think I'm going to turn this over to Dr. Kearns to give you some specific suggestions about some guided reading kinds of activities that the literature discusses. Okay, Dr. Kearns.
Thank you. One of the things we want to think about when we consider book reading is, and I just wanted a reminder from the last time, read a book from Monarch Reader. Digital Reader no longer exists, so you want to go to the Monarch Reader, and there's a link for that. So you want to think about that, but you want to introduce the book, model the words, you might want to flip through the pages and think about help them think about what the book is going to be about, because that activates their background knowledge. You want to play with the words and you want to have fun. And you want to focus on the fun of the book. Now, you're going to see some fringe boards that we're going to show you that go with books for AAC users. Don't require them to look only at the fringe board. Just have fun with the book, and you can use the illustrations in the book if they are illustration users.
Yeah, and don't make them look at the fringe for every question or every issue. Sometimes it's okay to just not do that.
Right. So a couple of strategies. We're going to follow the car and the crowd to improve communication during literacy activities. So the car is comment and wait, ask for participation and wait is here a lot, and then respond by adding a little more. If no response, just do a model and go on to the next question. So that's the car, comment, ask, respond, adding a little more. And then the crowd is maybe complete a sentence with close procedure, or do some recall with what happened, open sentences, WH questions, open-ended sentences like, what do you think about the book, or what just happened in the book? And then distance prompts. And what they mean by distance prompts is trying not to be intrusive with the prompts, but give hints along the way instead of the direct answers. So we want to crowd the car.
And another example of an open-ended sentence might be giving the child most of the sentence, like one of in the book, the person asks, "Are you my?" and all they have to fill in is that last component. So that's that open-ended.
Exactly. Thank you for adding that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here's another puts crowd in the car visual. And are waiting at least 5 seconds, and I would say probably more, especially if you've got kids with motor issues, because you want to give them time to prepare their response. That's also part of getting them connected to the book before you start asking questions, so that they can begin to prepare their responses. So that all is put the crowd in the car, and that is Erikson and Copenhagen.
There's a cool thing on that thing that I like, and that is never too early, never too late.
Exactly.
It's never too early to start reading to kids and to start doing some of those things. And just because you might have somebody who's 18 years old who's not reading, it's not too late to start that.
Exactly. It's also never too early to start using AAC, and it's never too late to start using AAC.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
And of course, literacy is another option for AAC. So we want to be mindful of that. It gives spelling in particular, gives kids another way to another efficient way to communicate. Another reading strategy and this was specifically with core vocabulary. This is Binger, Kent Walsh, and Taylor. Read, ask, answer. In the read, you read the story and you model 2 words. Clifford is the big red dog. And then you model the red dog on the board and you wait. Ask a question and model 2. Who is Clifford? Clifford is that big red dog. So that was a strategy offered by Binger, Kent Walsh, and Taylor. So there are lots of strategies you can use, different strategies, crowd the car and the RAA, read, ask, answer. I found this today, and so it might not be in our resource document, but PRC Saltillo has an AAC literacy planner, and it has books about making. This is the book is about Let's Make Friends, or Let's Play, which is a book about making friends. It identifies the core words, the fringe words. If you know about core vocabulary, those are words that are used more often. It has fringe vocabulary, friends in school. It has objectives. It tells you what to do, how to introduce it, what to talk about. It really does kind of go with that car and crowd thing, because it says right here, you probably can't see it, but car method, comment, ask, respond. Make a comment about modeling one of the core words, add a question or a pause, model 3-word phrases, on a device. And then there's a complement bingo that you can play afterwards to implement. So this is, and the newest one is Pete the Cat book. So just so you know, that's a really nice resource with lots of additional resources that go with it. This one actually also has a plan for alphabet and sound awareness. So those things are available. Now, this is one we did. This is Rainbow Fish. And this is an example of using that, picking out the fringe that would go with the book. And so you'll notice that we have few words: lonely, give, happy, shiny, sad, friends, share. We also have the alphabet and we have the colors because we're talking about a rainbow fish. And so we also have a PowerPoint book that goes with it. And the PowerPoint book is adapted. You have to have a copy of the book Rainbow Fish in order to use it. And each page has an illustration from the book, the text, and then a question at the bottom that says, what color scales did the fish have? And this one doesn't do it because it's just a sample. But if you select the correct answer, it's animated and it will turn around and make noises for you. So this is an adapted PowerPoint book. Could also be used on a tablet or a device, either one. Here's the specific fringe for rainbow fish. You could add more words, or you could put keywords in there that you would like to emphasize. Books with repetitive text. These are just some examples. And then here's the Monarch Reader thing that I was mentioning before. You can find all kinds of adapted books on the Monarch Reader. So things with repetitive text: Five Little Monkeys, Brown Bear, Brown Bear. If you want to work on the word no, here you go. Lots of activities there. Creating literature-based communication boards. These are fringe that go with literature-based boards, and this is all on Pinterest. Just go have a big time. Lots of them out there. And so you can get lots of ideas and you don't have to make it up yourself. One strategy that we've used in our communication and core vocabulary is merging communication and literacy. And so this is core words of the week and the books that go with them. Easy to do. You just Google children's books with X number word with the word blank or words blank, and it will help you come up with books with that word in it. So that's another potential resource for you. And you can see this one goes on. For no, there's green eggs and ham. That's not my monster. That's not my dragon. Lots of books listed there. Peer partners. This was a slide we had last time. We want to continue to engage those peer partners in reading and communication. Assistive technology, we talked about this before. So text to speech occurs while note taking. Occluding devices, you can do occluding devices online, and I'm sure my vision people or Jasmine will be able to tell us more about that. What that means is it narrows in on the specific lines so their kids aren't distracted by other text. So that helps them read a specific sentence and not be distracted. So Kurzweil has note-taking support, embedded AT in devices, live text, iPhone, Google Voice typing, all kinds of things. And then lower tech things like fringe boards and tactile symbol boards and other paper occluding devices, phonemic awareness dictionaries, sticky notes, all kinds of assistive technology to help AAC users. And there's a new book out. Some of this came from a new book. Dr. Page and Dr. And I have Dr. Say it again.
Dr. Alt.
Yeah, sorry, going too fast. Dr. Page and Dr. Alt, I now have a chapter in this book, and it's Assistive Technology and Universal Design for Learning, Toolkits for Inclusive Instruction, and it has support for literacy. a whole chapter on AAC or AT for supporting literacy and it's Floyd, Jeffs, and Puckett, brand new. I mean, hot off the press. So it isn't in the resource document, but it's certainly available to you. And so just remembering the impact of reading comprehension, applying relevant background information, making predictions, self-monitoring, repairing strategies, identifying and relating major points, summaries, comparing and contrasting, all of those are important skills for reading comprehension. But if we only start, we can start with one and get better. And then as we've noted before, Bob Williams quote, who's an AAC user, "I'm thankful for one gift I received early in life, which most people can take for granted, and that's the gift of literacy." So it helps you make sense of the world and gives you independence that you wouldn't otherwise have. Anything else you want to add, Dr. Page?
Yeah, so I was just going to summarize. So, we've talked now about, last time we talked about self-selected reading and letting students, giving them things that we know that are likely to be interesting and that they can pick on their own. And this week we're sort of talking about things that we might do with those readings once students start to select some books that they're interested in. So we'll keep you going on the four block theory, and we'll get to another one next time.
Which will be writing.